This is Richard Flax at MoneyFarm, talking about some of the things that have caught our attention over the past few days. A few things to touch on this week. Firstly, in the US, the political situation continues, and assuming that we get a resolution on who's actually going to be in the White House, the attention will then turn to the state of Georgia, where we have two Senate runoff races. And this is important because if the Democrats were to win both of these seats, or potentially even one of them, that could mean that they would control the Senate. And that, from a market's perspective, would have implications for things like the size of the fiscal stimulus, potentially some changes in the corporate tax rate. And without that, it seems likely that a Republican majority in the Senate would block a number of proposals that the new administration would like to put through. Staying with politics, when we look at the UK and Europe, the Brexit negotiations may finally be coming to some sort of an end. Remains very unclear what the outcome is going to be. The sticking points that we've seen around state aid, around fish, all seem to be still with us. And perhaps the negotiations have been slightly complicated by an outbreak of COVID within one of the negotiating teams that has slowed down or potentially will slow down the negotiations in what is now a pretty crucial time. Turning to COVID and vaccines, we had news this week that Moderna's trials showed similar results to what we saw from Pfizer, which is a marginal positive in the sense that it continues to support the idea that we will see a vaccine of some sort being rolled out in early 2021. In the meantime, however, the increase in the number of cases, the increases in the hospitalizations that we've seen in Western Europe and in the US is likely to impact, unfortunately, economic activity as we come towards the end of the year and then perhaps into early 2021. So from a financial markets perspective, there's a little bit of a tug of war at the moment between the current situation, which is perhaps a little bit worse than we might have hoped a few months ago, and the outlook in a world where we do see vaccines and we see a beginning of a return to normality on a more sustained basis. And this tug of war we're seeing play out a little bit, and we think that might continue for a while longer until hopefully we get a more optimistic scenario coming into 2021. Finally, we've seen a significant trade agreement announced in Asia Pacific, the so-called RCEP, which covers around 30% of global GDP, some 15 countries. And it's a reminder of a couple of things. Firstly, importantly, it includes China. And it also speaks to the progress being made in Asia Pacific in a region that perhaps has shown the best performance in 2020, not just in dealing with COVID-19, but also in terms of economic activity and the recovery in economic activity that they've seen in the region. And so when we think about going forward, it's really a reminder not just of a increasingly significant China, but also an increasingly significant region, not just as a source of manufacturing, but also as a source of demand and a more integrated region in Asia Pacific as we move forward. Thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to speaking to you again soon.